significant here because Nigerians are now moving toward AI business registration in minutes, and that is a quiet revolution. We have not really been talking about. But then we've seen that 10 years ago, registering a business name could take you up to hours. But now we saw what CAC has done. You know, they've involved a lot of digital means to, you know, get it done quickly, efficiently, and whatnot. And if that system truly works efficiently now, then I think it will lower that barrier to entrepreneurs. So yeah, the balance is very much needed here. I always talk about balance. The balance is very much needed here. Let us continue to encourage innovation in as much as we tighten all the oversight, so we will avoid suffocating the digital ecosystem, because Nigeria's digital economy is one of the brightest spots. The fact that young people are very inclined to it is the most beautiful part about it. It's the future. Our future is written in codes, like I always say. So yes.
The little I just want to add is that in as much as they want to put regulations to it, it should not be too much, because too much of everything is actually bad. They should make it fair or mild, and Nigerians should abide by it, because we've known ourselves for people that like breaking laws, and let me not put it that way, but it's like that anyways. So they should try to allegedly actually, they should try to abide by it, because we are looking forward to growth and development and expansion. In as much as AI has come into play and a lot of people are making money through that means, we should also look forward to making it the right way. Everything we do, we should try to do it in the right way, so that we can be put out there in a very beautiful light, because we've gone through a lot of bad light lately. So let's make this work.
Okay, let's make it work. For innovation. Okay, let's see this last story we have here. Meta has filed lawsuits against several advertisers in Brazil and China for allegedly using celebrity deepfakes to promote fraudulent products and investment schemes. The United States technology company announced the legal action on Thursday, saying the suspects used artificial intelligence-generated videos and images to impersonate well-known public figures across Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. In Brazil, Meta is suing B&B Suplementos Cosméticos, Bright Academia do Treinamento, and 2 individuals for allegedly using deepfakes of prominent physician Drauzio Varela to market unapproved healthcare products and to sell courses teaching similar tactics. In China, Shenzhen Technology is accused of running celebrity-bait advertisements targeting users in the United States and Japan, while Vietnamese company Li Van Lam allegedly promoted fake Longchamp luxury bags. Meta says the lawsuits are aimed at disrupting global scam networks that exploit artificial intelligence technology to deceive users and defraud consumers. The company maintains it is taking stronger steps to combat deepfake-related fraud across its platforms. I think the lawsuit is a signal of where the internet is heading. Because deepfake technology is no longer a futuristic problem again. I think it's now, it's safe for us to say it's a mainstream problem now.
Yes,
it is mainstream. So when scammers can convincingly clone the face or the voices of people, the respected doctor like the one mentioned there, it changes the trust equation online. You know, that is a serious level of this scam now, because social media platforms, you know, make money from advertising. So when fraudulent ads can, you know, sort of slip through into the mainstream media, the credibility of platform should be questioned. It's questioned, because by suing the companies in Brazil and in China, Meta is trying to show it is not passive, because at the end of the day, this can affect these social media apps. If people see that your app is usually promoting fake things, people may retreat. They may begin to stop using the app and move to another one that favors them. But the deeper issue here is that AI tools are becoming cheaper and more accessible. I'm not saying it shouldn't be cheap. Don't add money too much, but then they are becoming very accessible. Very. Almost anybody can, you know, get access to it. Some of them are free. I think the free versions have some limits, but they are still free. You can try it today, maybe 3 times, come back tomorrow and still try 3 times and do whatever you want to do with it. But it is no longer just a sophisticated cybercrime group again. That's what I'm trying to say in essence rather, because everybody can now access these digital tools. And a small digital marketing outfit can generate a realistic video in hours. You can do anything in hours with you can generate yourself talking, and I think that's where the legal system here, when it comes to responsible usage of the digital space, is moving slowly. Technology is moving faster than regulation. Talking about regulation again.
Very fast.
Technology should not move faster than regulation. As they are bringing new innovation, new tech ideas, the regulation, supposed to follow it. Yes, there should be a balance, and this affects Nigeria too, not just about China and whatnot. We saw the case of that girl with the guy that sort of merged their picture together. The verisimilitude in that picture, you can almost not tell it was that picture was merged. So AI tools are becoming cheaper, like I said, and we have already seen fake endorsement using, like, coming down to Nigeria. We're seeing so many fake endorsements using Nigerian celebrities to sell some miracle investments, some products, some fake health products, some especially beauty products and all this enhancement, whatever. And all of these things erodes trust because users become very cynical. And when users stop trusting the system, when they see that the entire digital advertising market is corrupt, or the space is corrupt, it weakens the digital advertising model. So it weakens that space. So I just feel like, we know that Meta owns Facebook, Meta owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and these are platforms that we use daily. Like, almost everybody uses these platforms. So these platforms are deeply embodied in our lives, especially in Africa, in Asia, and Latin America. These are the places where we use these apps the most. So enforcement really, really matters. Regulation really, really matters. But I just feel like all these lawsuits alone, every day they are taking Meta. I think Mark Zuckerberg is in court. Yes, he's in court. He's being sued for something they say he did with Facebook and children. I don't know what the case really is, but yes, I know he's being sued. So we should just do something about this. Is really, really important that we do something about it, because these people's life depends on these spaces.
Businesses.
I mean, like, our survival too, to an extent now these days, it depends on these spaces.
I'm telling you, it's a space where people now survive daily from, and like you said, the regulation needs to come in, and in as much as things are moving very fast when it comes to technology, when it comes to AI and the rest of it, the regulations should also follow to balance some things and make everything okay. Because if these apps go down, I tell you, a lot of people will crash. Both the owners of the app will lose money, both the ones using the app are going to lose money, and will just be in the middle crying. Nigeria has already accepted and bought this space a lot. I will say Nigerians because every time you go online, people are creating content, especially with this AI too. They are coming up with new ideas, they are coming up with new stories. You would be very concentrated watching a story for like an hour.
When I watch it and get entertained,
like,
when he laughs at me there.
Like, you be like, this person is very creative. Because AI has made it easy. You can just put in something there, it gives you a character, and then people are earning daily from it. And many people are not even working anymore. They are in the comfort of their house making money. So if this system is being corrupted right now, it's going to affect a lot of people, especially in Nigeria here. So the regulations should really come in. And I like the fact that they are being not just passive, they are being active about it. It will help shaping things, and people would know that yes, this is for this and this is for that, and then would move forward, of course.
Okay, that's the much we can take from across the headlines. Let's see the news we brought your way. You saw that INEC brings forward 2027 presidential election to 16 January, and the Nigeria extends share not export ban to boost local processing, and Nigeria's CAC ambassador calls for tighter crypto regulation and digital restoration milestone. And lastly, you saw that Meta sues Brazil and China advertisers over celebrity deepfake scams. That's the much, like I said, we can bring your way across the headline. But then, let's go on the short break. We'll be back with the discussion segment. You stay with us.
augmented connected workforce. The augmented connected workforce leverages remote collaboration tools, AI insights, and wearable devices to enhance productivity. This trend is especially relevant in the era of hybrid work models where teams need to collaborate from different locations. Tools like Zoom and Microsoft Teams have become essential for communication, while wearable tech monitors worker health and safety. However, companies must balance employee privacy with performance tracking to avoid ethical concerns. The workforce management tools market is forecasted to grow to $9.3 billion by 2026. There you have it, the 20 game-changing technology trends shaping the future as we speak. (5G technology). 5G technology promises to be a game-changer by delivering ultra-fast internet speeds, low latency, and the ability to connect millions of devices seamlessly. It's going to fuel the future of smart cities, autonomous vehicles, and IoT devices, allowing them to communicate in real time. However, 5G rollout isn't without hurdles. High costs of infrastructure and regulatory issues in some regions have slowed down implementation. By 2026, the 5G market is expected to be valued at $667.90 billion, with the US, China, and South Korea leading the change. The challenge? Cybersecurity risks and data privacy will remain top concerns as more devices become connected. Democratize generative AI. Generative AI, which creates new content like text, images, or music, is becoming more accessible. This trend is enabling businesses and individuals to leverage powerful AI tools without needing deep technical expertise. Tools like DALL-E are already transforming marketing, entertainment, and design. However, as generative AI becomes democratized, concerns about copyright infringement and misuse of content are rising. Enhancing cybersecurity. As cyber attacks grow,
Okay, welcome back. You're still watching the Idea Morning Digest, and this is the discussion segment. And yes, this segment promises to be very interesting because we're talking about cybercrime legislation. I think we're talking about cybercrime for the better part of this show today. Yes. And yes, we're going to be talking about cybercrime legislation and civil liberties in Africa. And digital economies are expanding across Africa, so as we know, and governments are racing to strengthen cybersecurity laws to combat hacking, online fraud, digital scams, and attacks on critical information system. But as legislation evolves to address new threats and the equally important questions are being raised, how do we secure cyberspace without weakening the very freedoms democratic societies are built upon? And in Namibia, a proposed cybercrime bill has sparked national debate. The Windhoek-based Institute for Public Policy Research has raised concerns that certain provisions in the draft law could infringe on fundamental rights if not carefully defined and safeguarded. The bill reportedly grants expanded investigative powers, including access to electronic data and digital communications, as well as seizure of computer equipment during investigations. Authorities argue the reforms are necessary amid rising cybersecurity incidents, with NAM CSIRT recording over 500,000 vulnerabilities within just 3 months. Critics caution that vague definitions and broad powers could risk undermining privacy, freedom of expression, and potentially journalistic or activist work. The conversation reflects a broader trend across the continent as African governments confront the dual challenge of protecting digital infrastructure while preserving civil liberties. So this morning, we asked why or where should the line be drawn between cybersecurity enforcement and constitutional freedom. So to help us unpack this, we'll be having we'll be joined rather by an African Liberty fellow who is a senior analyst as person of Patricia She's a Sierra Leonean journalist with over 4 years of reporting experience, and she's a mass communication graduate of Fora Bay College, University of Sierra Leone, and currently an LLB student at Nijala University. She reports for Awoko newspaper. Centering lived experiences to strengthen accountability and influence public discourse. Her reporting has earned national and regional recognition, including winning the National Anti-Conflict Awards in 2023, becoming a finalist for the same award in 2024, and emerging as a finalist for the 2025 West Africa Excellence Awards. She also has been selected for the several national and regional fellowships, with her work appearing in international outlets such as LIBERTIES. Welcome, Patricia. Good to have you join us this morning. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. How is Sierra Leone today?
Cool, I can say.
Okay.
Amidst the challenges we are facing, everything is okay.
Okay. It's good to know that everything is okay. Okay, so let's just go straight to the first question we have here. We're talking about looking at the Namibia's proposed cybercrime bill. What really stands out to you in this current form? Are there parts that catch your attention more than others?
So, as I read through the proposed bill, what stands out to me most is that the heavy reliance on vague words. That means words that are not clear enough. Words like reasonable, necessary, and in the opinion of the minister. These kind of phrases appear harmless. On the surface, they must appear harmless, but deep down, they carry different meaning, and these affect the users online. For Namibia, according to research, with over 3 million people and 8 to 9% of them are illiterate, I believe it is really important to have clear words for cybercrime acts, so that users can actually be aware of what and what to put out there when they are in the online space. Also, the bill gives the executive too much power to carry out exactly what they are doing. And when you look at sections in the different sections in the proposed bill, you can see the minister can actually fire and also consider in his own interpretation what exactly is misinformation and disinformation. So I think the bill is actually power-oriented than people-centered.
Interesting. Power-oriented than people-centered. As a journalist, what do you make of it from your own stance, your own perspective?
As a journalist, I believe this is not good for any democratic state, okay? Because for democracy to actually thrive, there must be checks and balances. So, if to say I have an investigative story that I'm working on, or perhaps I want to critique the government, if I go online and put whatever I believe the government should do that they are not doing, then the government might, in their own eyes, see that as a cyber offense. So that limits my freedom of expression. And for any democratic state, that is not a good thing.
Okay, so this is just a follow-up question before my co-host comes in with a question. But you mentioned that what stood out, and it's clear, it's obvious for everybody when you read that bill, that the use of vague statements was highlighted the most. But why is it important? Well, I think that or I thought that it is important to be precise when drafting laws. So I feel like it was precise. But why is it important? Why is it so important to be precise when drafting laws, especially in an area like cybercrime where technology moves so fast? Did you get my question?
So let me just lay the premise in the proposed bill before I answer the question.
Okay.
One problem in the bill is the repeated use of the unclear words. For example, Section 3A allows the minister to make broad and necessary regulations. Necessary is not defined. This gives the minister alone to decide what is necessary without any clear standard. In law, this is dangerous because it allows rules to be created without parliament.
I think we have a little, network has chosen to offend us again. But I think we've got it that. Maybe we were just talking about cyber crime issues and how regulations are very important. And Namibia rolled out a bill as regards cyber crime. And we're seeing what this bill is saying. You know, there's a whole lot of debate about the bill. So people are coming out to say activists, civil society, citizens, you know, lawyers and whatnot are coming out to say this bill cannot work. They are debating the bill heavily, that it's going to suppress freedom of, you know, expression. And people are asking, why should they? So the question is, where should that line be drawn, you know, between cyber security enforcement and constitutional freedom? And everybody wants freedom of speech. But when we look at the social media, what people are doing with social media these days, sometimes I beg to question how at what level is freedom of speech go? How do we define freedom of speech in this time where technology is the in thing? How do we define freedom of speech where social media is the in thing, and where everybody is now to an extent aware? Everybody is very much okay. I think we have Patricia.
Okay.
Now, sorry about that, Patricia. Network is not our friend today. Okay. Yes.
So, as I was saying, sorry for that break, similar issues appear in other sections which allow council member to be removed without being given reasonable opportunity or for good reasons for he or she to be removed. The bill, it does not explain what counts as goodwill or how much is reasonable. And this is possible for removal to happen based on personal interest or political motives. And there is a problem when laws do not define these terms. Decision can be made by whoever holds power at the moment. Throughout the bill, especially in Section 18, subsection 1, 9, Section 20, subsection 3F, and other sections.
So many sections.
The minister or authority, all these sections, the minister or authority is allowed to regulate any other matter that is necessary or expedient. The word expedient here means convenient. So this is one of the widest legal drafting. It gives permission to regulate almost everything as long as the official believes it is useful. And in cybercrime law, this is risky because it allows new controls over digital systems or online behavior without any strong legal balance. So why precision is especially important in cybercrime is because cybercrime laws not target the hackers, the fraudsters. It also affects the ordinary online users, the journalists, the civil society activists. Digital devices are often hard to deal with because they have these technical things in them. In law, it is actually important for people to know what exactly they are playing with. And when there is no clarity, people can just be held liable, be held criminal for things actually they believe the government should be doing, but they are not doing.
Interesting.
All right. Good morning again, and thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here with us. Okay. My question is, what safeguards should ideally be included in cybercrime laws to protect privacy rights?
cybercrime laws are meant to protect people from online harm.
Okay.
But if they are not clearly written, they can also harm privacy. Ideally, this law should include strong and clear laws, because I keep emphasizing that the word should be clear, because citizens need to know what exactly this word means. Because if you use the word necessary in law, there are other interpretations for it. But if citizens are aware that when you're using this type of particular thing, these and these apply to it, I believe it's actually important. Also, judicial oversight. The police, they should not be allowed to access citizens' digital gadgets unless a judge approves it. And I will re-emphasize that there should be a clear authority from the judge.
Okay.
Because if the police or any other security personnel decide to interfere into the privacy of ordinary citizens, let me say they are already taking the law into their hands before it reaches the final stage. Also, when it comes to the use of the language, when there is no clarity, everything can be treated as a crime. But a clear wording protects people from arbitrary arrest.
Okay.
Okay, so I think at this point, everyone agrees that, should I say, because I don't think there's anybody that do not enjoy freedom of speech these days, especially in this time and age where social media is the in thing. I was just sharing with my co-host. But how do we strike the right balance here between ensuring national security and, upholding constitutional protection? Is coming from your background as a journalist and as a, it's good that your background even strikes that balance first of all, so we'll get a clearer picture of this. So how do you, let me take it again, how do we strike that or the right balance, so to say, between ensuring national security and upholding constitutional protection?
Balancing national security with constitutional protection is not about choosing one over the other. It is about making sure they work together. Of course, the country needs strong security to protect its citizens from cybercrime, online fraud, and others. But it also needs strong constitutional safeguards to protect privacy and free speech and other due process. When security becomes more important than rights, democracy suffers, I believe. And when rights are protected without any security framework, people become vulnerable to crime. The balance comes from careful lawmaking and accountable enforcement. So, for us to have a balance between the two, there has to be a strong judicial oversight. This means the police should not access our phones, emails, or private data simply because they suspect wrongdoing. The judge must approve such actions based on evidence. This will protect the citizens from arbitrary arrest whilst enforcing the law. When the police act, they become the investigators, and this is dangerous in any democracy. Also, there is no way we can go out of clarity. Cybercrime legislation should focus on the real harms, like hacking, fraud, online exploitation, not offensive words like misinformation. When words are broad, when definitions are broad, the government has too much interpretative power. And this is why where constitutional rights begin to erode. Because the people no longer know what is safe. And clear laws protect both the people and the security and freedom of expression. And another thing is all security action should follow the principle of necessity and proportionality. In simple terms, this means authority should not collect the data. So it should only collect the data when it is necessary, and only for as long as it is necessary.
Okay. So you've been expatiating really well about it and giving us a clearer look at what cybercrime laws should look like. But it seems to me like, several governments are, have been updating their laws as regards cyber laws whatsoever as regards cybercrime. And it seems to me that in Africa, it's most likely about, how should I say it, how you come on social media and what you post on, what citizens post on social media, especially against, government bodies and whatnot. Yeah. But I want to ask, are we starting to see a trend across African countries where cybercrime laws are being used to expand state powers? What's your take on it?
Excuse me, please. I believe the line is breaking. Can you please?
Okay.
Repeat.
Okay. So, I'm trying to, point to what cybercrime laws in Africa in these days looks like. It's most likely when you go on social media, when a citizen go on social media and post something that the government sees as something opposing their will, or their doings, and that's when you begin to see different type of laws coming here and there. So it's like it's a trend now in Africa. We're starting to see that trend across African countries where cybercrime laws are being used to expand state powers. Do you think it is so? What's your take on it?
Yes, I believe there is a pattern from what I'm seeing. It is a growing one across Africa, wherein cybercrime laws are exploiting state powers faster than the protections for citizens' rights. And the data clearly shows it. So, in West Africa, the cybercrime legislation proliferated a lot of things. Across the continent, 72%, that's Africa, analyzed, now has cybercrime laws in place according to the United Nations Trade and Development. This means they are no longer isolated. They are part of a regional, legislative shift that often lacks robust safeguards. Research also shows that these laws frequently have broad provisions that criminalize online activities beyond fraud or hacking, such as publication of misinformation, which creates a legal basis for action against speech that is critical of government and state actors. The Media Foundation for West Africa reported numerous violations of journalists in West Africa, including arrests to social media posting and economic issues in countries like Cote d'Ivoire in 2022. In East Africa, the country has loosely defined offenses of digital oppression. According to Access Now, hashtag Keep It On Coalition, there were 21 shutdowns of internet in 2021, the highest in 15 different countries. So I believe also in Kenya, there is this pattern of the cybercrime laws affecting citizens. Towards at a certain point, civil society organizations and journalists took the government to court for that particular act. So, according to research, the law was suspended at some point, but later these pressure groups, including civil societies and journalists, they actually point out that they are still liable for criminal offenses related to cybercrime abuses.
Okay, so something that has been of serious concern to me, I want to know if ordinary citizens have a role to play when it comes to when it comes to this type of shaping this type of legislation. before it is passed as a bill, then meets our sense, and then it is approved?
Yeah, of course. Citizens have a role to play, more especially the CSOs and journalists, more especially. So the CSOs, they help point out the risk involved when they are drafting these laws. So they can help to actually point this out by doing consultations, putting out policy briefs, doing research, and actually educating the people that this and what this particular act involves a whole lot of things, and this is what the interpretation will look like in the near future. Also, citizens' role involves checking the government. That is, when something is not going well, I mean, will tend to create chaos in the future with that particular act. They tend to they will attempt to come out and say, no, this and this is what we are not okay with. There is a need for them to be removed and be replaced with this. So yeah, there is a whole lot of things. As journalists, we can actually go out there, capture the voices of people, tell out the stories, and I believe these government officials do read, they do follow-ups, and they can actually see that, oh, the people are aware that what we are actually doing is not in the favor. So we need to watch ourselves so that even if we are now in government, but in the future when we are out, we can we can be safe in as much as we are the ones who created this particular law.
Law. Interesting. So to say, their input can really, help
Exactly.
ensure that the law is rather effective and, fair, and also would sort of give that voice to those who, might
Exactly.
otherwise feel like they're left out in the conversation. Very interesting that you've, opened that. But yeah, Mary, I
Exactly.
think you
So,
have.
well, the question I want to ask here is, what role should civil society and independent? Okay, let's take the next question.
I think
All right. How does digital surveillance intersect with democratic accountability?
For me, digital surveillance can affect democratic accountability are deeply connected, because the moment surveillance interferes without strong oversight,
Okay.
accountability starts to weaken. So digital surveillance gives government the power to access gadgets, monitor social media activities. These tools can help fight crimes, yes, but in a democratic state, power must always come with checks. Digital surveillance can be used quietly without interference into citizens' activities. Citizens don't know who is watching them. So when the surveillance is minimized, then I believe citizens will have the free will to actually express themselves. So in Namibia, the proposed bill gives power to the authorities over data and online content. In Sierra Leone, the Cybercrime Act of 2022 gives investigators access to digital information. But when people's freedom starts to be interfered with, that really raises eyebrow. So in Kenya, as I mentioned earlier, these pressure groups, they challenge that particular act, and well, it was in their favor at the beginning, but even though they are still trying to patch up with it. So I believe the surveillance is really important, but it must not weaken our democratic right.
very
All right.
important. I think it's a very tricky issue there, this
Yeah.
particular question, because digital surveillance is becoming more common, especially when we talk about monitoring. How monitoring, it helps with monitoring, and how monitoring
Of
can
course.
prevent crime. But then we're still looking at the issue of transparency. We're still looking at the issue of some oversight. We're still looking at um, um, some of these things are very key to how citizens will trust, you know, the system. But going away from that, because we don't want to spend much time here, you've said a lot so far, but we want to look ahead, and we want to look ahead right now. What principles should guide African nations as, you know, the draft or amend cybercrime law to ensure that it is fair and also it is effective? Because I think the law is not, or the goal is not just to create laws. You know, the goal is to create laws that encourages innovation. On Idea TV here, we encourage innovation. We advocate seriously for innovation. So we are looking at the ways we can, you know, encourage innovation and also fundamental rights of people. That's the ultimate balancing act. So what do you think are what principles should guide African nations as they draft and amend cybercrime laws?
Having already explained the principles, I will close by re-emphasizing the path forward for cybercrime laws is complicated, not mysterious. The foundation must be made right-centered. That means laws should protect people as much as it protects the digital systems. The cyber security concerns are legitimate, but they must be balanced with the outset of privacy, freedom of expression, due process, the strong judicial oversight. I mean, independent, the judiciary should be independent, and inclusive participation. Then we can get real accountability. These are not just the abstract, they are practical safeguards that can determine cyber laws serve democracy or quietly weakens it. There is a proverb, an African proverb that says, that actually speaks why caution and responsibility matters. So you cannot test the waters with the depth of your feet. African countries should not rush into expansive cybercrime laws without strong safeguards.
I think we'll hold that's exactly. A very strong ending. I think we'll hold that very close, and we'll not put that in our pocket. We'll put it in our front so that we can see it and always remind ourselves of that. But we're continuing this conversation. It's not going to end here, but for today, we are going to end here, and we want to say a very big thank you, Patricia SHEA Ngeva. I've been avoiding pronouncing that name, so I don't murder your name. Hope I got that correctly.
That's right.
I tried. Okay. Okay. Hope to speak with you some other time as regards this. Let's see where the bill in Namibia takes us to, and what other African countries are going to do about theirs. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasant time with you. Okay, Mary, we're still navigating and testing waters to see where the digital world takes us to. This conversation around cyber security, around civil liberties, will only grow more urgent because we are in a digital world. What do I always used to say? Our futures are written in code, and the future is now. We're not looking at the future somewhere, the future is now. But you know that you can join this conversation if you want to reach out to the African Liberty Fellow who joined us. You can send your questions under the comments section, and we'll send it to her so she can answer those questions. And another time we can have her on the Idea Morning Digest. But now, let's go on a quick break so we come back and see what's trending on social media.
Enhancing cybersecurity. As cyber attacks grow more sophisticated, cybersecurity technologies are evolving to defend against them. AI-driven threat detection systems, zero-trust architectures, and advanced encryption methods are becoming the new norm. However, keeping up with rapidly evolving threats is a challenge, especially for industries that handle sensitive data like finance and healthcare. The cybersecurity market is expected to reach $248.26 billion by 2024. But the constant need for innovation and adaptation means businesses need to stay vigilant.
Okay, good to have you back. You're still watching the Idea Morning Digest. And right about now, let's see what's trending on social media. The first story on what's trending we'll be bringing to you is that DISU assumes office as acting Inspector General of Police amid power cut and debate. And ONDO reveals TRICYCLE ambulances to boost rural emergency care. And then ABIA Governor OTTI declines chieftaincy title at UKWA event. First story, Nigeria has a new acting Inspector General of Police. DISU formally took over leadership of the Nigeria Police Force today, pledging professionalism, or yesterday, pledging for professionalism, accountability, and renewed public trust. In his inaugural address, he described Nigerians as the true bosses of the police and promised people-focused policing. DISU is a seasoned officer and former aide-de-camp to President Bola Tinubu during his time as governor of Lagos State, and his appointment has been welcomed by supporters who cite his experience and track record. However, some critics have raised concerns about the ethnic balance of the appointments, questioning the selection of another Yoruba officer. Defenders insist his emergence is based on merit rather than seniority or ethnicity. The ceremony drew attention when a power outage briefly interrupted proceedings, prompting reactions on social media and renewed conversations about Nigeria's electricity challenges. But despite the disruption, DISU completed his address and formally assumed duty as acting police chief. Let's take a look at the video quickly.
General of Police.
What? Jesus. This is an embarrassment.
Please be careful with the light switches, please.
As we all know, DISU isn't a new, is not new to high pressure roles like this, and I mean everybody knows he has worked with the president before, and before he was the Tinubu's aide-de-camp back when President Tinubu was the governor of Lagos State, and I think that background gives him insight into his administrative purpose or what is required of him, and also for administrative discipline and security coordination, people seek from him, and the political pressures that comes with top office. He is not new to these things, he knows them, but it also comes with scrutiny because people are talking about ethnicity here. The height of nepotism in Nigeria these days is becoming too much, and yes, he's Yoruba, and in a country like Nigeria, these things get really amplified because they feel like, okay, he's giving that role because the president is from this tribe as well. But the bigger question isn't just about ethnicity for me, and it should not be for everybody there. It's whether he can deliver, it's whether he can steer the police toward accountability and public trust. He can bridge that gap between the police and the public, which frankly has been shaky for years, because we've heard for a very long time that police is our friends, but a lot of people still think that police is not much of our friends. But now, what I've been smiling and laughing since when I was reading this is to the most interesting part about the ceremony, the power cut during the ceremony. It's very symbolic, or symbolic rather. It hits on every Nigerian's nerves, because Nigeria used to power outages, and when it happens at a formal event like that, cameras are rolling. It becomes a talking point, because how many people are watching this all over the world, and this is what happened. They'll be like, so what they say about Nigeria is true. Social media exploded with jokes and memes about this. It's circulating the internet until now, but it's also certainly reminds us, and as Nigerians, about infrastructure and governance, where we are, the challenges we are still facing. The challenges are very real, and this is a moment to watch, not just for the ceremonial aspect. This can happen in a public event, a very serious event like this. Then it tells a lot of Nigeria's governance, where we are at and what we should do about it. That was a call to action. NEPA did a call to action that what is Nigerian government doing with Nigeria electricity supply? Yesterday I saw a post and people were gathered around the transformer and were praying. It cartoonized illustration and all that. Well, then we just need to enforce a discipline here. We just need to do the right thing in every aspect?
I do not have a problem with where the person is coming from or what tribe the person is coming from. What I'm interested in is who would put in the work, who would actually put in the full work. It's not about calling people, appointing people, giving them offices, but we want people that would put in the full work, because we are tired of everything that has been happening about security here and there. So him coming to power now, we're looking forward to him putting the work practically, not just theory-wise. We're tired of reading headlines here and there. We want to see actions, and we're hoping that he will actually make Nigerians proud, despite everything that has been happening. In terms of the electricity aspect, of course, it has been happening here and there. Yes, it's true, it has been happening. We've seen other videos where they're having important meetings, and then the light just stripped off. And this is an event happening where the whole world is watching. And I can imagine what they'll be thinking, like, do you mean that this country is actually stable? Because it can tell a lot of things, actually. Aside the electricity, it can tell a lot of people, can read meaning to it and give meaning to it. But we believe that all this would be put in place before 2027 election comes.
Okay, let's see what the next story is about. ONDO State has unveiled tricycle ambulances to improve emergency response in rural and riverine communities. The initiative was launched around February 20th during Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa's first anniversary in office, with the vehicles deployed to selected primary health centers, including Surulere and Adegbola. State officials say the tricycles are designed to navigate narrow roads and hard-to-reach areas, complementing conventional ambulances. And yes, okay, the rollout forms part of a wider upgrade of 112 health facilities across the state, with 51 already completed. Authorities add that the upgrades include solar power installation, boreholes, and a major water scheme at the Federal University of Technology Accra Teaching Hospital. While the government describes the move as a practical solution to access challenges, many online have questioned whether the measure goes far enough for an oil-producing state. First of all, this kind of practical problem solving is one that gets overlooked. I mean, I guess that's another reason why people are dragging the governor. But tricycle ambulances, they may be small, they may be nimble, but they can reach places that traditional ambulances cannot.
At least it's better.
Yes, we have many rural communities in Nigeria, whether we like it or not. And some road parts are not good. Big motors and whatnot cannot even go through those lanes.
What about traffic?
So I feel like, all of this, especially even riverine communities, because on those states have some riverine communities, because they have the Ijaw tribe there as well, and some of those areas that have seasonal flooding. So I feel like he found a solution that is peculiar to their own problem.
There was a solution.
Yes, it is a solution that is peculiar to their problem.
Yeah.
So first of all, because it might seem like it's a small step, but I'm not seeing it like a small step, because when you consider the rural areas, how they often suffer for delay in emergency response. We always complain about delay in emergency responses in Nigeria. And when you consider all of these things, I think this can be life-saving to an extent, because we don't want to hear they are calling the ambulance, they are trying to prepare this, but this one can enter any nook and cranny. And the governor's rollout also links to broader health infrastructure schemes, especially broader health infrastructure improvement. So especially what I think they said to upgraded 112 health facilities. It's added solar power, it's added boreholes, and even water schemes at the teaching hospital. I think it's a very good strategy to not just deliver flashy announcements, but to improve functionality in these communities. And now critics are coming out, and they have, they have a point too. Not like they do not have a point. They have a point too, because ONDO is an oil-producing state. So what is ONDO doing with the money generated from all of these oils? And some people, it is right, because to an extent, because some people feel these solutions are still very modest compared to the resources and revenue that this state controls. The resources that this state controls and the revenue they should be able to generate. So, but from my perspective, I still go back to framing it as a pilot of scalable innovation and a solution that is peculiar to the problem of the people in these places, given the fact that it is riverine area, rural, very rural communities. And if these tricycles can prove effective, then I think other states should even copy these.
Yes.
If we complain about big motors and whatnot, let's find what can reach everybody. Even if we can start using bikes to deliver healthcare, we should do it. Anything that will make healthcare accessible for people and reach people, it should reach. That's exactly the kind of simple human-centered policy that actually touches daily lives.
Of course, people definitely criticize. I like the fact that he actually brought the solution. At least there was a little solution too, and that anything that will save life, properties, of course. That is what is more important, because this tricycle can actually get to areas that most vehicles cannot get to, and it can help facilitate the process to take patients to hospital very fast, being administered first aid. If this would actually help, and there won't be shaking or politics will not enter it at the long run of it, then it's a welcome development. Of course, this is practicality put in action, because it's not about them writing it and you reading headlines, but now we are seeing, at least we're seeing the works, we're seeing it there, so it's a welcome development and it's a nice one there.
Okay. Okay, now to the next, the last trending story we have here. Abia State Governor Alex Otti has politely declined the chieftaincy title offered to him at a civic reception in UKWA local government area. And the event, held on Thursday, was organized by the Ondoki clan to mark their move to the Labour Party. Governor Otti thanked the community for the honor, but restated his position first announced during his 2023 inaugural address that he would dedicate any such titles to the people of Abia State. He said his priority remains delivering better roads, improved security, and institutional reforms. Supporters at the event described the decision as a sign of humility and focused leadership. However, some critics argue that infrastructure challenges, including potholes and waste management concerns, should remain the government's immediate test of performance. And this is, I think, this one is a subtle but loaded with political and cultural significance, because declaring a chieftaincy title in Nigeria isn't just humility. People may tag it too. It's a signal, because Governor Otti is essentially saying his loyalty is to the people, and not symbolic honors that comes with leadership roles or names and statuses. Like late President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will always say, "I am for everybody and not for anybody." I guess this is the picture Governor Otti is painting with that saying. I think it's just a reminder of his inaugural promise to focus on governance over prestige. I mean, during the time when he came into power, he made it clear to the people that I am for you people, I'll do everything I need to do. His problem is not prestige at this point in time. And for those watching closely, I think it's all about, it's also about political, how should I put it, optics, because especially since the event coincided with a local party shift. So I just feel like him politely declining, he has avoided that perception of favoritism or being co-opted into local power structures. And that is good to see. And on the flip side too, some people might see it as him ignoring traditional, is ignoring to respect traditional systems. And in communities where, especially the Igbo communities, chieftaincy is very, very important. Recognition carries serious social weight, so turning down such title could also have its implications too, and misread as aloofness. Especially in Igbo societies, in most Nigerian societies too, but Igbo societies, they like chieftains, they take it very seriously. But I think the thing here is that Otti's message is consistent with a governance-focused approach. And the people are laughing there, so I don't think they took it the wrong way. He wants to put infrastructure first. He wants to put roads and institution reforms front and center before any other thing else. He has a role he's filling already. He has a mandate. He wants to focus on that. So another thing they should understand, that chieftaincy comes with its own duties and responsibilities.
Exactly.
So it's more like you have a role, you have a duty and responsibility already as a governor of the state, and you are trying to fulfill your duties, and then you are now adding another responsibility on top of it. How do you want to do that? And that's the kind of long-term thinking you really see highlighted rather in daily headlines. We should begin to talk about it. So from my perspective, I think this is one of those stories where there may be subtle, but it is real. It is important that we understand priorities. Let leaders understand how to set their priorities, right. Let people generally too, this goes out to everybody, learn how to set your priorities, right.
Exactly what you've just said. The Chieftaincy title actually is not just the title alone. It comes with a lot of responsibility, especially in Igbo land. It comes with a lot. I like this, the fact that he looked at everything and he felt, okay, let me focus on what I'm doing first. Let me perform very well in the office that I have before adding another responsibility to my responsibility. And that's actually a nice one. You see, these days in this country, you see people that own different titles, work in different offices, but yet they are not delivering any. We're not seeing the practical work. We're not feeling it. We're not seeing and we're not feeling it at the same time. But I like the fact, I really appreciate the fact that he looked at it and felt, okay, I need to focus on what I need to focus on. Let me finish. And when I'm done, maybe he might later in the future accept the chieftaincy title. You don't know.
If it will still be vacant.
If it will still be available.
Okay, you can continue this conversation by following us on all our social media platforms at Idea Television. Share your thoughts, share your ideas, share your opinions, and also you can catch up on this segment and previous episode on our digital channel, still on Idea Television, all our social media platforms on Idea Television, of course on Limex. Up next is Weather Report. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us, and that is the weather report. And this is where we close the curtains on the Idea Morning Digest today. My name is Cynthia Bassi, and of course I have been with
Mary Ojumajo.
Okay, from all of us here at Idea TV, have a productive day ahead.